Democratic Congressman James Walkinshaw of Virginia, who joins us now. And I'll start where Joe ended there on the logistics, Congressman, of, it looks like you're home or certainly not on Capitol Hill, out of session, right? So the idea of a short-term weekend shutdown, no matter what kind of deal-making happens in the Senate the next few days, because you guys need to get back, is that where we're headed?
Yeah, look, I think it's positive that there seems to be an agreement to split off the other 5 funding bills so we can get those passed and bring those back to the House as early as Monday, and the negotiations around DHS can continue. I mean, personally, I don't see why the negotiations around the DHS reforms should take more than a couple of days. I think that's a negotiation that could happen this weekend. It's an urgent crisis. The safety of the American people is an urgent issue, and it should be dealt with immediately.
Well, let me ask you about it specifically then. If we go to the telestrator, you'll see, and Joe talked about some of this, the specific demands that Democrats have put out there, including the ending of roving patrols, uniform code of accountability, conduct and accountability, and no more anonymity among the ICE officers. To see some of the bullet points over there with details. What I would ask you about is, couple that with what Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican South Carolina, just said. We had the clip where he says, well, all right, the Democrats, they've been insisting on keeping sanctuary city policies in place. We need some movement there. What do you say?
Well, look, state and local governments get to set their policies. Governors are elected, legislatures are elected, mayors are elected, councils are elected. They get to set those policies. And when someone like Lindsey Graham talks about quote-unquote sanctuary cities, what he's really saying is he wants local police departments and local taxpayers to enforce the federal government's failed immigration laws. And I've been a local government official. In most cases, that's the last thing that local police chiefs want to get involved in, because you risk breaking that trust and the bond you have with the communities that you protect and serve. So it's not quite as simple as Senator Graham feels it is. As someone like him who spent his entire life, adult life, in Washington, I don't think he understands the on-the-ground realities of public safety in communities across the country.
Well, let me ask you about some of those on-the-ground realities in Minnesota specifically. We all took note, as reported earlier, that the president at his cabinet meeting never called on Kristi Noem, the DHS secretary, didn't really speak at all about Minnesota. He's leaving it to Tom Homan, who his borders are. He sent in Homan. He had a news conference this morning. Here's part of how Homan put things.
We'll make sure we do target enforcement operations. And look, I will say it again, we are not surrendering our mission at all. We're just doing smarter. I come here looking for solutions. I do not want to hear that everything that's been done here has been perfect. Nothing's ever perfect, and anything can be improved on. If we get these agreements in place, that means less agents on the street.
So what about that from Homan? I know he's associated with Trump, but he's a career guy going back to the Obama years. We go back to our telestrator. I'm going to do something longer later in the show on this. But remember, they used to call President Obama the deporter-in-chief. And you look at these numbers at 3.1 million in terms of deportations in the 2 terms under Obama. And then the Trump numbers are on the right side. So Homan was there for a lot of that. You could argue he knows how to do this kind of thing. Is that do you accept that? Do you think Homan's a better bet?
Well, look, obviously, it's a dynamic we face in the Trump administration where someone like Tom Homan is a relative moderate. I mean, he's the guy that changed the policy that said ICE could enforce immigration laws in preschool. So ICE can show up to your kid's preschool and detain your kid's preschool teacher. That's Tom Homan's policy. So, I don't see him as a moderate voice. He certainly projects more competence than a lunatic like Greg Bovino or Secretary Noem, who puts her foot in her mouth every time that she opens it. But look, Tom Homan understands that you can enforce immigration laws with targeted enforcement, where you go after the small number of folks who are involved in crimes, folks who have deportation orders. You don't need roving patrols. You don't need to deputize local law enforcement to become federal immigration enforcement. He was involved in it during the Obama administration. He knows it can work. He's just not allowed to say that now because he works for Donald Trump.
All right, one more quick thing, Congressman, before you go. There was a report from Axios today that House Democrats, you're one of them, have been told by leadership not to go to Minnesota, that it would put too much of a burden on local resources, not support your colleagues there, city and state government. Is that true?
Yes, that's been widely reported, and House Democrats did receive that notice. We had an organized field hearing several weeks ago, and I think they're trying to avoid a bunch of members of Congress showing up there, where then additional security measures have to be put in place and Capitol Police have to be engaged, and it just isn't the moment for that right now.
All right. We'll come back to all of this. We'll see how the funding goes. You confident, by the way, this DHS funding gets figured out? It seems like you were when we first talked about it, that they could get a deal.
I do think that the 5-bill package being separated out, that will pass, I think, in both chambers. I think on DHS, quite honestly, I think the Trump administration is trying to buy for time here because they think maybe the heat will die down and the pressure that they're feeling right now to accept real reforms will lessen over the days and weeks to come. And that's why I think the moment is now to negotiate for the protections American people need.
Congressman Walkinshaw, Democrat, Virginia. Thank you, sir. 12 past the hour.